So today, we're going to dive into one of the biggest, most tantalizing cosmic puzzles out there. It's about a really powerful, super fleeting, and totally unexplained signal from deep space. We call it the WOW signal, and, it just might be the closest we've ever come to getting an answer about whether we're alone. And that's really the heart of it. This whole thing kicks off with one single, incredibly dramatic moment. A moment that, to this day, still has astronomers and, let's be honest, all of us just completely captivated. It's a moment that hinted that maybe, just maybe, someone else was out there. Because that's really what this is all about, isn't it? That one huge question that's made us look up at the stars for, well, forever. To get into this, our story doesn't start out in some distant galaxy. Nope. It starts in a quiet field in Ohio, during the summer of 1977. Okay, so picture this massive instrument. It was called the Big Ear, and it was part of Ohio State University's radio observatory. It was built for one big purpose: the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. Its entire job was to just listen, patiently listen for any little sign, any whisper from the cosmos that we weren't the only ones out here. And you have to imagine, most of the time this work was, well, it was pretty tedious. A volunteer researcher, Dr. Jerry Ehman, would have to sift through these huge printouts of data, just line after line of letters and numbers, representing all the random static the telescope was picking up. It was literally a search for a needle in a galactic haystack. But then, something different happened. A few days after the fact, while Dr. Ehman was reviewing the data from a couple of nights before, his eyes landed on something that just made him stop cold. This was not random noise. See, in their system, numbers 1 through 9 and then letters A through Z were used to show how strong a signal was. A U meant the signal was a whopping 30 times stronger than the normal background noise. So this sequence, 6EQUJ5, it showed a signal that shot up in intensity and then faded back down, which is exactly what you'd expect to see from a source in deep space as the Earth rotates past it. In that moment of just pure shock and amazement, he grabbed a red pen, circled the code, and scribbled one word in the margin. And that's how this whole cosmic mystery got its name. The WOW signal was officially born. So what was it about this little string of characters that made a professional scientist just write, wow? Let's break down exactly why this thing is still the #1 contender for an alien message we've ever found. Okay, first thing you need to know, the frequency. The signal was clocked at exactly 1420 megahertz, and trust me, that number is not random at all. See, that frequency is something special. It's called the hydrogen line. Hydrogen is the most common element in the entire universe, right? So scientists have thought for a long, long time that if an intelligent species wanted to send out a message for anyone to find, they'd use this frequency. It's like the universal dialing tone. The second thing that made it so wild was how clean it was. The WOW signal was a narrow band transmission, really sharp and focused. Natural stuff out in space usually creates messy, broad static. This thing, though, it cut through all that background noise like a laser beam. And finally, there's how long it lasted. It was there for exactly 72 seconds. Now, why is that number so important? Well, that's the precise amount of time that the Big Ear telescope, which couldn't move, could see a single spot in the sky before the Earth's rotation moved it along. This strongly suggested the signal wasn't some fluke from Earth, but a real fixed point out there in space. So you can imagine this was an absolutely mind-blowing discovery. The next step was obvious, right? Find it again. You have to confirm it. But this is where the mystery really, really deepens. I mean, as soon as they realized what they had, Dr. Ehman and his team swung the Big Ear right back to that same little patch of sky over near the constellation Sagittarius. They were desperately hoping to catch that whisper one more time. But there was nothing, just silence. They tried the next night and the night after that. Over the next couple of years, they scanned that same spot more than 50 times. And since then, way more powerful telescopes from all over the world have pointed in that direction and listened. The result is always the same. Absolute silence. All right, so if it wasn't a repeating message, what in the world could it have been? In all the years since, scientists have come up with a whole list of suspects to try and explain this thing away. A ton of theories have been thrown out there, Could it have been some secret military satellite? Probably not. None were known to be broadcasting on that protected frequency. What about a signal from Earth bouncing off a piece of space junk? It's possible, but the signal's profile doesn't really line up. A brand new kind of natural event we've never seen before? Maybe, but we know of no natural source that makes such a clean signal right on the hydrogen line. Now, the biggest theory to come out recently, back in 2017, suggested that maybe the source was the hydrogen cloud that surrounds a couple of passing comets. And it just so happens those comets were in that part of the sky back in 1977. But this idea got shot down pretty quick by a lot of other scientists. Here's why. Yeah, comets give off radio waves, but they're incredibly weak and spread out over a wide range of frequencies. They're nothing like the super strong, super narrow, and super precise signal that Dr. Ehman circled on that printout. So that's where we're left. Every single explanation that's been put forward seems to have a fatal flaw. Every time we think we've got an answer, it just kind of falls apart, leaving that central mystery as powerful as ever. After all these decades, the WOW signal isn't just a weird piece of data anymore. It's become a symbol of our deepest hopes, and maybe our profound loneliness in the cosmos. You know, even the man who found it, Dr. Ehman, he always stayed cautious and scientific about it. His words really capture the whole feeling of this thing perfectly, that deep human desire to believe, fighting against the absolute need for scientific proof. And without being able to see it again, it's stuck as an anomaly. And that leaves us with a truly haunting thought, doesn't it? For 72 seconds, we might have accidentally overheard a message that wasn't even meant for us. A quick beacon from a civilization far, far away. What if the universe did try to say hello, just that one time, and we weren't around or ready to hear the rest of the conversation? The signal is long gone, but the question it asked, well, that's going to echo forever.